Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to the Adventures Travel Club television show. Well, on our last adventure, we left off in Ferndale.
Yeah, great place to leave off. I would like to stay there a little bit longer, though.
Well, you get a chance to do that on this trip, so we're just going to enter the town of
Oh,
Ferndale.
okay.
And you know, this to me, did you ever read or see the play Thornton Wilder's Our Town?
Yes.
This sort of reminds me of what, only this is kind of the West Coast edition, because I think that I think Our Town actually took place in the East Coast. You know. Anyway, this reminded me a lot about that.
Why?
Why what?
Why did this town remind you of that?
Because of the way that how picturesque it is and how small it is, and you've got the various churches there, and just pretty much the way that it's described.
Town?
Yeah, small town. Yeah, and you probably everybody knows everybody, and maybe everybody knows everybody else's business. You know.
Oh, I think that's true. I know when I first moved to Sanger, there was a very, very small town, like 4,500 people, and we knew the stores closed up for the kids' high school baseball games.
That's
great. It was really a lovely way to live.
Wonderful. It is. Yeah, unfortunately, I think we've gotten a little too fast-paced from there. But you know what I like here, Betty, is it almost looks like a movie set. You can see here with the facades on the buildings. But
now you want to tell the people that it really is. Huh? We didn't go there at all.
No, I went down to Universal Studios.
Yeah.
No, not quite.
Of course, you can tell because of the car traffic. Other than that, I think we could fool them.
Oh, I don't know, but I wouldn't want to do that. This is really nice. We stopped here for lunch and spent quite a bit of time shopping and touring the town. I had never been here before. And I understand. I was talking to Susan, one of our staff members, and she lived up in that area. And she said, you know, they have races up there. These kinetic sculpture races.
Fun, huh? Yeah.
Boy, I'll tell you, that sounds like it would be fun.
What is a kinetic sculpture race? I had to have it explained to me, so you brought it up, and you might just as well tell our viewers.
Well, have you ever been to a soapbox derby?
I've seen them, never been to one.
Well, it's sort of like that, only a little more, kind of a little more elaborate, where these where the vehicles themselves have got to have to be like a kinetic sculpture to move, to have the moving parts and
mobiles,
cycle
mobiles and stuff on.
Well, that's what I would say. I've never seen one, so I don't know. But
I think a lot of them are like tricycles and something like that, not soapboxes.
I don't know if you build it around.
It has to be pedaled. It has to be movable with your feet.
Oh yeah,
you can't have a motor on it.
No, I don't think so. You are the motor if you're sitting. And this is kind of interesting. This you could buy a ticket for that little dollhouse that someone had built there. That was really nice. And this was quite quaint as well, to see a horse-drawn carriage go down the middle of Main Street. Be fun, huh? Yeah.
Have you ever done it?
Oh yeah, I've taken those before.
I'm too cheap. I will watch people take it, but I'm cheap.
That's kind of fun. And this was, I thought, very amusing here. These trees were cut sort of like in the shape of a bell here in front of this
shaved
house. Yeah,
Burma
beautiful,
shave.
aren't they? No, I don't think so.
Remember those signs that we used to have on the highway?
Go down the
Burma
highway.
Shave? We were so fun. It made
careful, you're dating us.
Oh, I don't care.
I do remember those signs, as a matter of fact. And this was interesting to me. This was the cemetery, and this was quite large. I didn't shoot the whole place. I mean, like that, but you could walk around, and it was really quite a large cemetery. So a lot of people must have lived in this town over a period of years.
I always liked cemeteries, and I thought one of the very interesting things. I did a lot of walking around this, like I usually do when we go somewhere. Not only the dates, but which are interesting, but this one had taken the effects of the earthquake, the big earthquake that they had there.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
And many of the tombstones were just lifted up off the ground and laid there at different slants, different angles.
That's true. And it was interesting to see that this church that bordered right on the cemetery, would you call that a steeplejack?
I would say so.
Is that right? Steeplejack. Well, those guys
I
were up there.
don't know if that was his name or not. Could have been Joe
Steeple
or John
George,
or whatever, yeah.
Anyway, they had a job that I don't think that I would care for. I'll tell you, you have to hang by ropes up there to re-roof the church.
It's kind of like working here.
How's that, hanging by ropes?
Hanging by ropes.
No, by threads. By threads, yes.
And
anyway.
Scotch tape and a little whatever.
And stapling, staples and baling wire, right. Anyway, it was quite pretty. And these guys were serious about their job because they were getting it done up there, I'll tell you.
Didn't
it was
look
really
too
nice.
bad. Just sitting down on the job, at least.
Yeah, but it's getting up there. Look at the pitch on that roof, though, you know? I mean, they had to have some tall letters on the other side. Portuguese Hall, built in 1879, Portuguese community up in that area. And I thought that the stores that we went into, the people were so friendly and so nice, and they had a lot of things that I think were a little bit unusual. You know, you go into some of these areas and it's all sort of like, I would say, glorified junk stores, but this was not the case here. In fact, up on the second floor of this kind of a general store was like a museum that we discovered up there, and you could see the I have to apologize about these edits, but the Scotch tape isn't holding on these edit machines, unfortunately, and so we're just going to have to live with that until I can afford to buy some new ones. 1999, whatever that is. Anyway, Betty, listen, I want you to take a look at some of these labels on these cans here. There's Does. Do you remember that?
No.
Does everything. It was a soap. Oh, don't you remember that from the old?
No, I don't.
And Lifebuoy soap.
Lifebuoy
and Oxidol. Oxidol. Oh, Ma Perkins, right?
Yes.
Ah, I remember that. Now we are dated. Okay. But some of those
I
others
was
I
just
don't
a
remember.
child.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, okay. Well, I was. What am I talking about? Anyway, maybe some of our viewers will recognize some of these other containers that you see here. But this was a very nice display.
Didn't you tell me that you just found a container for sunshine crackers that they are selling now?
They sell them, yeah. I've got one. In fact, you know, I saw one, in fact, in a little store, you know, like that was selling memorabilia. Woo, they wanted like $10 for it.
Well,
you know?
let's get yours.
No, I've got mine. I'm not going to sell it.
We'll have a yard sale.
No, I'll tell you, keeping the crackers, the saltine crackers in a tin, keeps those things fresh, and you can keep them for a long time.
Well, why don't you use it then?
I do.
Well, you have crackers in it?
Oh, yeah, sure I do.
I didn't believe that.
Oh, no.
Mine here all the time, so I assume you don't have any.
No, I'm saving mine. Anyway, this was a Catholic church that we went into, and the front door wasn't open, but Betty went around. She found the back door was. So anyway, we took a look in here. This was a beautiful little church, wasn't it?
Very, very well kept up, too.
And this is nice to see that all these churches in town were, are being used as such. And nice to see that the church over by the cemetery, of course, was having the roof redone.
Yeah, I think that's an Episcopal church, the one with the big steeple.
Very
beautiful.
Right? Yeah, it was very, very nice. But again, the architecture here is really quite nice. And this house was across the street from the church that we had just visited. Isn't that beautiful? There's a name for that, and I can't think of what it is, what that style is. Anyway, it's on down the road again because we're going to head on down into the San Francisco Bay Area. But you see, we're still in the area where wood is...
lumber is the industry.
Big commodity,
sure.
That's right.
Very important.
And we can see that there's some big logs right there.
Well, there was a lot of reforestation taking place too. So if you log, then you reforest.
That's the
nature of the beast. That's what we're supposed to do.
Yeah. And of course, we do need that lumber. And it's nice though to see, as you say, when they have gone back and planted the trees. And I think that's pretty much, you're going to find that most of the country today that they're doing that. Anyway, this area is really beautiful. Again, a lot more bridges and a lot of rivers and streams that we were crossing. And
no rain.
No, very nice.
It was nice. It was shirt-sleeve weather.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful.
We did see some fall coloring, hopefully, or we had hoped that we would see more of it, but the weather had not turned cold enough when we left. So what we saw there you can see a little bit of it yourself.
Actually, we're waiting right here. A logging truck had turned over, and so we sat there for probably about 45 minutes or longer, I think, waiting for that. And so as they finally were letting traffic come through one way and then through the other way, so we're coming through there now, and you'll see here that the police cars are on the side of the road. And if you look right here, you're going to see a lot of the lumber that was just hit the side of the road as the truck lost the whole load. Yeah, I was asking our bus driver and he said, what happens is that the older drivers really are complaining about that, is that they hire some of these younger fellows to drive these logging trucks, and they do go, he said, too fast, and a lot of times they do, lose the load like that. So that's what he says.
I thought it was real interesting. While we were waiting there, I got out. I'm so curious all the time, and I went down to find out what was happening. And there was some gal in her pickup, and she had a CB. Is that a CB? And so she told me everything that was happening because she was in contact with somebody else.
Is that right?
And that's how we got the information of what had happened on down the road.
Isn't that
wonderful
something?
What goes on today. Huh?
Yeah, modern technology. Well, we're in Mendocino County and heading on down toward the Napa area. And you can see now, of course, that the scenery is changing quite a bit from the big tall trees. We're getting down to smaller trees, and it looks like a little drier area in through here too. But this is beautiful area too. I've got to say, California just has so much to offer, and people that visit here for the first time, I think, are really amazed if they do travel, the length of the state to see just how many things that we have. And of course, we often forget, I think, that California is as big as many countries as we have visited. In fact, larger than some countries that we visited. So it's amazing, and it's always nice to see too. So if you haven't seen our own state,
come
during
with
this
me
time
to
of
Yellowstone.
Year, right? Yeah, and see some other
and
states
see
as
some
well.
of the other states.
Yeah.
California, you are right, because you have the water, you have the ocean, you have the mountains,
desert.
I think you just have
you've got everything. We really do.
And like I say, when I went to Yosemite the other day, I thought Switzerland was just, oh golly, so awesome. But so's Yosemite. I mean, it was just beautiful.
Yeah, it's true. You've been here before, hadn't you, Betty?
Where are we?
To the Burbank Gardens there.
Yes, I have.
There in Santa Rosa.
Yeah, my sister lives in Santa Rosa.
This was the first time that I had visited here, and we got here rather early in the morning. In fact, the cottage was not open yet. But it was nice to walk around the grounds at leisure and take a look at all of these plants. And they were really something. This is not quite as large as I thought. I thought it took up more room than this, but of course it's right in the middle of town. I guess, of course, when he founded the place, it wasn't. It was out in the country, I guess. But.
No, he did so many things, both in vegetables and flowers.
And it's really quite interesting to see. This was the Memorial Garden, and that was a large part of that. Said it was redesigned in the 1950s and dedicated in 1960 to Luther Burbank.
I don't believe there was a charge. I don't believe there was a charge for going in.
No,
there would have been a charge probably for going into the home itself, because usually they have that, but it wasn't open.
No, you can wander around the gardens. In fact, if you take a bird's eye view, this is what you would see how the gardens are laid out on the plots of land that are there. It was really interesting. I look forward to that. I really did. I'd read about that many times before, but again, it's one of the many sites that are located here in our own state that I had not seen before.
Well, Bouchard Gardens, they're not, and an hour was enough. But I'm with you. I thought that was a most interesting place to visit.
It said Elizabeth Burbank died there in 1977, and that house that she had lived in for quite some time. And these pictures, of course, go back. They moved into the house in 1927, and she lived there for the next half a century. They were married in, when was that? Yeah, those were the photographs out, so I can't quite read that. Anyway, he moved from Massachusetts in 1849, and in 1875 he arrived in Santa Rosa, and you can see what it looked like at that particular time. So it was interesting to read about him too, and look at there's a good shot of the old house right there. It's nice that they took photographs. Right? That was 1884, and it was a 4-acre site with the existing house and the carriage house at that time in 1884. And we'll get another look at it here in a little bit as it looks in 1996.
Seems to me like I had to do a book report on Burbank at one time.
Where did you do your research?
Well, through encyclopedias or
good way to do it. Now you could do it on the internet.
I was going to say.
Now you could do it on the internet, right? Well, there's another shot of what they call the carriage house there. So and as you say, our adventurers were really interested, I think, in seeing all of the various plants that were there, and a lot of those were identified too with little signs there.
That's
so that you
what
could read
helps
about it.
me. I would never know what they were if
What-
they didn't have that little sign right next to them. Oh, that is so pretty. What is that? You know, and it could be. Well, I do know pansies and something. Things
Calla
like that.
lilies and cactus.
Oh yeah,
and
things that are
type of stuff.
obvious.
Yeah.
I know, but I don't know the names of the other things. But I always admire them. I think they're beautiful.
Yeah, and then the new varieties of various plants. You have to admire the people, especially like this with the roses. There have been so many roses that have been specially bred and named now. After various
Do you
folks.
breed roses?
Yeah.
Breed them? Is that
Yeah,
what you do? Propagate.
Well,
What?
what
What
do
do
you
you
do? You
do?
make a. I don't know. Anyway.
I don't think. I don't. Maybe I could be wrong. I don't think. Well, that's okay.
Well, you have to ask.
Whatever it does,
have
they
to
do.
ask a rose grower.
Okay.
All I know is that I'm lucky if I get mine trimmed.
A rose is a rose is a
Pruned.
rose. Huh? Yeah.
And they
But
sure are some pretty ones there
Yeah.
too, and a lot of nice little fountain areas too. This is a place too that you could spend a lot of time on if you just wanted to go there and sit and relax during the daytime, which you could do because there are nice little benches that are around there, and again, as we say, some of these little water fountains. So it's really quite
Quite a bit
lovely.
of traffic.
Around the
Yeah,
place,
right around,
because it is located downtown. That's right. But you get in the gardens there, and I think it's kind of nice. Now, Betty, have you ever had candy that has been made from a cactus?
No, but I have had pickled cactus. A lot of my Mexican friends use the cactus and they do something with it. And then they can it,
Mm-hmm. Right, and you have it with
And
scrambled
so
eggs.
I tasted that.
And
It's not
you had
one
that?
of my favorite foods.
It's not.
No.
Well,
But anyway,
a lot of people
I
like
did
it.
try
You
it.
can- Yeah, I've had the pickled cactus before too, and I think this is one of the types of cactus that you can find that of the blossom, as you see, that would have been there at one time. And it's interesting to see when cactus do bloom.
I think Catherine Rivas that went with us on this trip, she was up in Terabella. I think she grows these out in her acreage. I think she has cactus.
She has a cactus garden
No more than that. Not just a garden. I mean a field
of cactus.
of cactus.
Whoa! Oh, that's nice. Well, now here we're going to take a little closer look. And this fellow it was early in the morning, so he was there washing the windows of the cottage there that the Burbanks did live in. And of course, then you can see off just on the other side of that there is the little glass house. What do you call those?
Greenhouse.
Greenhouse. That's right. Yeah. Why do you call it a greenhouse when it's a
'Cause you
glass
grow-
house?
Because you grow green stuff in the glass house.
Yeah, but it should be called a glass house, right?
Well, no, people that are in glass houses, they can't throw stuff.
But if you live in a greenhouse, you
You
can,
throw it,
right?
yeah.
Okay, whatever. Anyway, we're going to get on the road again and leave Santa Rosa and head on down again down through Marin County. And Betty, do you know what this building is over here?
No.
Frank Lloyd Wright Design
Oh,
Building?
sure. Oh, sure.
You
I've
know
been
what
there
that is.
before.
Yeah.
My sister
Isn't
and
that
I
the
went
City
there.
Hall?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
And-
and that is really beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah,
have you driven up
I
inside
didn't. I
there?
just went around it because his architecture, the way he has designed things, are so outstanding.
Well, and that he just sort of joined both of those hills together
Put
with the building. It
Mm-hmm.
was I think it was really quite nice, Anyway, Mount Tamalpais. Have you ever climbed that one?
No, I haven't climbed it.
You haven't climbed
No, I've looked at it. But I
you
could.
did-
I could.
Could you climb it?
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of people go hiking on
I'm
that
a
mountain,
climber.
don't they?
Yeah,
I
I'm
think
a
that they
climber.
do. Yeah.
But-
And we're going to go through the tunnel here, which is just above Sausalito, right?
Now, Sausalito is a very favorite place of mine.
It's a fun place to go.
I was raised in San Francisco, and we used to go over to Sausalito on the ferry boat, and it was fun.
Before the bridge was built.
Yeah, well, it was my mother and dad used to take us over there
Yeah.
when we'd go on the ferry boat. When I was a kid, it was just real good.
Well, they still run a ferry boat.
Yeah, my
through there,
daughter
don't they?
goes to San Francisco, and they cross the bridge. They walk. And they walk all around Sausalito, and then they walk back to San Francisco, out to North Beach.
That is
they are walkers.
that is a fur piece,
It
isn't
sure
it?
is. It
My
is.
golly. Well, they must be in
They
good
like,
shape.
They like
Oh.
to do things like that.
How long does it take them to do that?
Oh, all day. But they're not in any hurry.
Well, that's great. Well, that's good if you want to do that. And of course, there's the San Francisco skyline off there in the distance, and here we're coming
the
up to the
bridge,
Golden Gate.
yeah.
Yeah, this is always magnificent. I always want to get pictures of this, so this
There
was a
it
good
is.
excuse to do it, wasn't it?
There
Yeah.
it is.
And
I've
Twin
crossed
Peaks
it many times.
off in the distance over there to the left with the candelabra, of course, on top of that. But this is so nice, and this was a beautiful day too that we picked to head into San Francisco. How'd you like to climb on top of that, though?
Well, I guess, Marv, from what I understand, they are continually painting the both
Always.
Bay Bridge and Golden
Always.
Gate Bridge. So they
Always.
just get through with one end and then they come back to the other, you know. So it's a good livelihood for somebody, but oh no, I wouldn't want that either.
No,
I would be frightened. And how boring. No, it wouldn't be boring because you have
I think
ships going by and you have all kinds
And
of
all
weather.
yes, right, all kinds of weather
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
That's very true. Now, would this be Sea Cliff on this side of the? On
The
this
Sea
side
Cliff
of the,
is,
or is it on the
you
other
wouldn't
side?
see Sea Cliff from the
You
from
won't
the
see Sea Cliff from the Golden Gate
No, Sea Cliff is out toward the ocean.
On
way
the other
out,
side.
The
of
other
that.
side. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Now, a trivia question.
Oh gosh.
We were talking about radio programs. You talked about Oxidol and
Yeah.
Oxidol's own Ma Perkins. What radio program took place in Sea Cliff? The family lived there. Do you remember?
Oh. Yeah, I don't know it. I don't know.
And
But I do. I do.
Do you recall? Do you
remember
recall that?
something, yeah.
And I'll tell you what it was.
Was it One Man's Family?
That's right. You
And
win
I
the
really-
prize.
now, see, they
One man's
think they'll
family. That's
think
right.
that you
Don't you
told
remember?
me,
It's
but-
Father Barber saying, "Yes, yes, Penny, yes, yes."
Well, I don't remember that so well.
Huh?
But I didn't live far from Sea Cliff.
Is that right?
I was raised
Oh,
out there in
nice
that
area.
Oh no,
Uh-huh.
I wasn't in that.
You were
good
rich
area.
folks?
No, but I was out in the Richmond district, and it was like in the avenues. So when you're in the avenues, and Sea Cliff is down.
There's
part
some
of that.
beautiful homes there.
It is
Some
beautiful. One just
beautiful
went
homes
into
there.
the sea the other day.
Oh, I'm really proud of you. I didn't know if you'd come up with the answer to that or not.
No,
That's
well,
good.
I don't know. That's my computer. I can remember. I remember things that surprised me, but ask me what happened yesterday.
Oh, I wish they'd bring those radio programs back. They did once. I think
do
they
listen-
resurrected them once.
I listen to them at night, at 9 o'clock at night.
Mm-hmm.
They have the radio. In fact, I listened to The Shadow the other night. Fun. And I wish the kids would do that today because it really excites you and it makes your imagination work.
Oh, I'll tell you that. I know it's the greatest thing in the world.
Ah.
You know, I have to say, radio was the greatest thing for your imagination. Too
the
bad today.
squeaking doors
Yeah.
and
Oh,
bang, bang,
all of
bang.
it.
You know. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, lots of fun.
Okay, here we are, the
Yeah, now,
greatest city.
yeah, we have arrived, and of course we're going to head on down toward Fisherman's Wharf because our destination was Pier 39, where we again stopped for lunch. But we're on the way to get there, and of course you got to go through other areas of the city to get there. You're familiar with this part of the city, Betty?
Yes, sir.
It's very nice. Now, just we've already passed the area which would have been in back of us with the Marina District, which did suffer from the last
yes.
earthquake so
Yes,
badly, didn't it?
Yes, it did. Now we get down to the Embarcadero.
You know, the area that we are going down to, they started when it was probably when in the late 50s or early 60s. Is that when they started kind of redeveloping all of that? They put up a lot of the, because some of that area was pretty junky for a while, and then they started putting up a lot of the high rises.
Don't ask
down in
me
that
ever
area.
about dates.
You don't remember?
No,
Well, you remember One Man's Family.
Well, that's not a date. I never had a date with him. But I don't. I'm not good at dates. I'm really
Well,
not.
I kind of think it was during that time. And don't you remember when Cost Plus first opened up
No,
there?
I do not.
Oh, that was so interesting. That was
when
a
you-
milestone.
Yeah, but
mean,
I
you know?
lived there. When you live in a place, you don't.
Speaking of Cost Plus, there it is right there. Yeah. Well, you know, I remember, you know, coming up from the valley, going up to the city. I mean, that was, you have to go there. You have to go.
Sure, and you have
shop
to go to
at
Golden
Cost
Gate
Plus.
Park, and you have
Yeah.
to go to Fisherman's Wharf. But when that's always there for you,
You
don't
don't do it. That's
Only
right.
when you have company come up from Los Angeles or somewhere, then you do because you take them.
Is that rivalry still going on between San Francisco and Los
Oh,
Angeles,
I
do
don't
you suppose?
think so. I don't think so. San Francisco is so much better than Los Angeles.
Whoa! Now wait a minute. Wait a
Couldn't
minute. The
be.
Los Angeles people are gonna take
Oh, I
exception to
think
that.
why do you think they're all moving up north?
Well, you mean to get out of L.A.?
Well, of course.
Well, could be. I don't know. I don't know. Of course, that's where I originated from, so I can't say too much about it. I do like the north, though. I think it's nice too. Anyway, and this area, as I say, then they were working. I don't think I have ever been here when they haven't been doing some sort of construction there.
Well, it's the earthquake did damage to this area too, Marv. And then you know the hotel down there, the Holiday, is it the Holiday? The Hyatt's Regency.
Hyatt, yeah.
That is such a fun place to go to, and you go up to the top and you look all around. And of course, San Francisco has some beautiful hotels.
Yeah, I think
I've always thought when I was a kid, and I looked down here and I'd see the ships here at the, I'd think, someday I want to go on it. I was calling boats then. Someday I want to go on a boat. And then I did get to go. And I discovered it was a ship.
Did you ever sail out of San Francisco, though?
Once. No, I didn't. I sailed out of L.A. to San Francisco. When I was a little kid, my aunt took me on either the Harvard or the Yale or some.
Did you sail? Then you sail under the bridge and come into the?
No, I was just a. Well, I don't know what we did. It was we were all seasick.
So your first venture out on a ship, you got seasick?
I was probably 6 years old.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Oh
it was
dear.
Awful. Awful.
Well, fortunately today there are stabilizers on the ships, and that doesn't happen that much. Speaking of that, because we are rapidly running out of time, you're going to have a cruise for next year?
I'm going to have a cruise. I am. We're going to go to the Caribbean. And I wish people would call me and ask me where they'd like to go. I talked to a really nice lady today, Joy, and she said, Betty, we have to know in advance because we want to plan for next year.
Right.
Now, she's thinking of Russia. And she's thinking of Paris, and she also your favorite Scandinavian countries.
And we are going to go. We are going to go to France next year too, right?
Yes, we are. That's for sure.
That's for sure. So that's going to be put that on your agenda. That's going to be.
So I'll be working on this.
Good.
I really Marv keeps after me all the time.
And if you do want to get on Betty's mailing list, it would be a good idea to give her a call. And our phone number in Fresno is area code 209-488-7443. So give Betty a call. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye.